Hello, this is Dr. Terry Daniels, and welcome to the Rhythm of Business podcast. I have as my guest today Darrell Fuller. He is the president of Tantalum Partners out of the Louisville, Kentucky area. They're health related. He'll tell us more about that health related business. But really excited to have you, Darrell, on the podcast for this interview. So, just getting us started, can you walk us through a little bit about who you are and a little bit about Tantalum Partners?
Sure. And let me say thank you, Dr. Daniels, for having me on your show. My story is I am an entrepreneur. Actually, my background is quite like everybody that's in the insurance industry is by accident.
Okay.
I actually am a graduate of HBCU, Tennessee State University,
Okay.
down in Nashville. And I actually started off actually in dental insurance, uh, first as a sales rep, and worked my way to health insurance, and then I became what's called an insurance broker,
Okay.
which we do is on the B2B side, actually helping businesses make decisions on what kind of benefits insurance wise fit for their employees. I've been in this business for it's hard for me to say it, but it's been over 30 years at this point.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. And Tantalum Partners is my third agency uh startup. So 15 years ago or more, I started an agency called I Serve Advisors, which I sold about 7 years ago.
Yeah.
I took a brief break. Uh, During that break, started up another small agency, which we sold. Actually, I sold as well, much more modestly in that case. Then took a couple years to really just kind of sort out what I want to do next.
Sure.
Another friend of mine, actually, who sold his business, nothing related to insurance, uh, approached me about the lack of diversity in the insurance industry, which was
Wow.
actually why I started my first agency. And it was because during that time, less than 1% of insurance agencies were controlled or owned by people of color. And it was a
Wow.
staggering statistic. And that stat actually remains the same today.
Is it really?
Yeah, I was the only African American full service insurance agency in the state of Kentucky 15 years ago. When I got out of the business, there were none. And we full circle 15 years later, starting up Tantalum Partners, we are the only one
Oh
in the
my
space now.
goodness.
So
Oh my good. Wow. So
yeah.
where did you get this entrepreneurial bug? I mean, where did it come from? Did you have a background in it? Your family have a background? Where did you get this? Instead of getting a W-2, right, job, all of us could have been that, right? Why did you go into this space of entrepreneur?
Well, I gotta tell you, part of it is the way this industry works. So when you are an insurance broker, even if you're a W-2 employee working for an insurance
Mhm.
agency, which I was in leadership with a couple of national leaders, uh, you're you're almost an entrepreneur within a business because you develop the relationships, you manage the book of business you have. And quite honestly, you know, I have 4 sons,
Okay.
and I've thought about, early on, what do if I want to have something as a legacy for them, I can either, if they wanted to come in after me, I'd
Mhm.
have to hope that they were allowed to come in,
Yeah.
or I can create my own and then have something that if I want to, hand that off to them. So,
Absolutely.
it really was that simple.
Oh, wow. Wow. So when you think about being an entrepreneur, and I'm sure you've had a lot of journey with a number of business that you began and started. And so what are the misconceptions, if this audience is listening, what are the misconceptions of being a business owner and an entrepreneur? What do people think it is that it may not be?
Well, I'm probably gonna say something that most people don't say. Obviously, it's challenging, but I will tell you that the thing that you will never do is you will never wake up not understanding how important what you do is,
Absolutely.
because it's yours,
Yes.
and that's the motivation.
Yeah.
Uh, I'll also say, uh, it it's fun. If you're doing something that you truly care about, then absolutely, it'll be fun. And I would tell anybody that's thinking of going into any entrepreneurial business, the worst reason, the absolute worst reason, in my opinion, to go into anything is for the money.
Yes.
Because if you go into it for the money, you are always going to judge yourself, your success by the money and not by the impact you have on the community or anything else you do. Um, and I will tell you that for me, especially in this endeavor, uh, I think tantalum. What's most important to me is that what we're doing has a higher mission than just making money. Uh, that's for me.
Yeah. Spoken like a very wise person.
Through
So
you heard that 30 years, right, doctor?
yeah, I heard it right there. So in terms of number one, you had several businesses, but number two, as a business owner, entrepreneur, as you said, you wake up and you've got it on your mind all the time because it's paramount to do that.
Absolutely.
How do you find the people call it work-life balance or whatever you call it, life balance? How do you find that balance between, hey, I've got to stay invested in growing this, but I've got four sons and I've got a family that I'm trying to raise? How do you find as a business owner, entrepreneur, balance?
Well, that is a great question, and I'll tell you that it's one of the more difficult things because too many times what we as individuals, we get confused by what who we are and what we do. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and it's real easy as an entrepreneur to make your identity absolutely the same thing as what you do.
Yeah.
And it can be consuming if it's not something that, again, your passion is there. Um, I think if you find a way that you can incorporate what you do into your life in
Yeah.
a way that it does not over, I guess, overwhelm your life,
Mm-hmm.
then you can have that balance. And I won't say easily, but you can achieve it.
Yeah.
But I think it's something you're always going to struggle with.
Yeah.
I think you have to set boundaries, and sometimes you have to do little tricks. For me, I'll give you a good example. As you can probably tell, I'm not in my office at my desk,
Yeah.
and the reason I did that is kind of intentional. There's certain rooms where, when I'm at my office, I'm at work. When I'm at home, if I'm working, I work in my office here, because then I'm in full work mode.
Yes.
If I'm anywhere else in the house, I can actually know that even if I'm doing something that's somewhat work related, I'm not working.
Yeah.
So I'll only do the task at hand. If that
Yeah.
makes any sense.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. And that's just a good, strong mental way to divide and conquer your world. It's part of us all the time, but I need to create some space
Mhm.
where I know that's not the most important thing at that particular time. So tell me this: how do you ignite as you started this business? You bring other employees on when you started Tantalum Partners. You had this passion, you had this dream, you got this drive, you had previous experience and successes. How do you instill the passion in others to give to give up into the business at some level that's going to help you achieve what you want to achieve?
Yeah, I will tell you this is another great question, doctor. I have been blessed that I think that the individuals that have connected with me, both through
Mhm.
Tantalum, with iServe, I've been blessed that they happen to be like-minded. I think that it is absolutely tantamount that the people that you have that you work with share your vision,
Mm.
because if they do not, then that will make your work that much harder. Because you have to have a similar vision. It doesn't have to be 100% the same, but you have to be aligned. Um, and so something I did with this business that's a little bit different in our structure, we decided the way that we would set things up is our sales, all of our sales, there is no one has their own clients. There is no individual ownership. Every prospect, every client that we have, every single person in the company has input, and they all work with it, with that customer. And the reason we did that is because I want to make sure that even within Tantalum, there is no competition. There is only commonality. You
Oh,
know,
that's good.
no one gets commission. Everybody is salary. Because again, we have to all at least share that goal. I've worked in offices in this industry before where one door down from me is somebody who's prospering and just killing the world. In the office on the other side is somebody who is literally sinking
Mhm.
and on the verge of total collapse. And how are you sharing the same brick and mortar with people? Then if the worst person in the office is in the shape of the person to my right who's absolutely drowning, then the company is drowning.
Yeah.
And I don't ever want to be a part of that kind of atmosphere again. So it's probably a long way of answering your
No,
question.
no. I tell you what, Darrell, I think the key is that one, the word that stood out was vision,
Mhm.
and that vision encompassed everything from the employees that have been with you for a period of time to how you set it up so that everybody wins,
Mhm.
and that's vision. That's not just happen to be doing it. That's based upon vision from a place of strong character and values, right? So it's obvious
Absolutely.
that you've done a lot of good things right with your team.
Well, thank you, thank you.
But
That was what we wanted to do there.
where do you see you taking this business? I know you've grown businesses, sold businesses. Where can Tantalum Partners go as a business, and what are some challenges that may hinder that?
Yeah, well, you know what? You asked me that question today. The answer may be different tomorrow. There are days where I say, you know what, in about 12 months, I want to see, where we are, and if any of my sons are ready to join in and learn some of it, I'll walk out. And then there are days where I say, I'm going to do this for 15 more years.
Yeah.
Uh, that's if you're an entrepreneur and if you've already plotted your exit, I'd say you should question what your real
Yeah.
mission was. Yeah,
Mhm.
I think it really it depends. I mean, this industries change, the climate change, the things, the desires that I want for the business change. Um, right now, I'm enjoying it.
Yeah,
So yeah, I don't really think as deeply about that as maybe I should.
absolutely.
But to answer your question on the challenges, I think the challenges we have um, are kind of the same things about me making the decision. It's the business world changes, this industry changes, insurance is so fluid, and we go from we there's new products, everything we have to learn. I'm blessed and lucky that I have people that work with me that are a whole lot smarter than me in that. So I think I'm at about my capacity of learning.
Yeah,
But so right now it's fun, and the challenge is, are we able to continue to be effective? I think that's the challenge always. I don't want to do this if we have to do tricks in order to get it done, and we're not really doing what our mission is, and that's to be innovative and effective for our clients.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Now, last question. So, thinking about you in that 2 year window where you were figuring out what you wanted to do and be, right? Or
Mhm.
even before you started your first business. If there's a person sitting there listening to this podcast and they've got this dream in their heart and mind, and they got a pen and paper in front of them, they start doodling and coming up with ideas for this entrepreneurial journey they want to take. What do you say to the person who is sitting there with the paper in front of them? What do you say to that person about this entrepreneurial journey that might encourage them to make one move? What do you say?
Yeah, I will tell you the strongest word for me that anybody considering anything should consider is the word regret. Because
Mm,
you can only guarantee losing by not even attempting it. I've everything that you try to do is not going to be successful. Everything that we've tried with any of these businesses that I've been a part of, everything has not been successful. We have been good enough to pivot when there's an opportunity to pivot,
mhm.
but if we never got off that pen and pad to actually doing something, whatever it looked like,
Yeah.
and that's the way we absolutely didn't get a chance to pivot and we failed.
Wow. And that word regret is so powerful.
It absolutely is,
Think
Doc.
about that. You don't want to look back 5 years from now and tell you like, I sure wish I would have, right?
Absolutely.
You got to go through it. You got to step out there and I mean your journey is excellent, man. I'm just telling you. I read about you, looked at you, and I thought I got to talk to this guy because
I
he's the
appreciate that, doctor. Coming from you, that's high praise, and I do appreciate that. You know, and if only my wife knew that. She probably has 5 things I need to do in the house, and hey, I need to tell her. Dr. Daniels said, "Look, you need to look at my background. I do
you
not
need to
need
go look
to
at
change
your
my
background because she would be like,
color."
look at what God let me be married to. Yes.
Yes, that's exactly right.
But Darrell, thank you so much for taking time and letting us hear your story and hear your journey and providing some the context to others who may be thinking about this journey. And so, thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Dr. Daniels. It's my privilege.
To the audience, thank you so much for coming to another episode of the Rhythm of Business podcast. We had as our guest today Darrell Fuller. He's the president of Tantalum Partners out of the Louisville, Kentucky area. If you're looking for insurance needs to understand insurance for your organization, I would highly encourage you to reach out to Darrell Fuller at Tantalum Partners. Thank you so much. Come back and listen to another episode. This is Dr. Terry Daniels with Rhythm of Business podcast. Have a great day.